I've loved Pokemon ever since I was 6 years old, and I picked up this DVD at a Video Easy. This DVD changed my life, and without it, I probably wouldn't have this YouTube channel. I definitely wouldn't have all this behind me, or like these many binders of cards. I'd probably be a lot richer. Anyway, the point is, Pokemon is a huge part of my life, but in the years 2017 and 2018, I took a bit of a break from everything Pokemon. I stopped collecting cards, I stopped watching Pokemon YouTubers, I even stopped making Pokemon videos. And of course, I didn't play the new games, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and I've never played them since. Until today, baby! That's right, it's finally time for me to solidify my title as a Pokemon fan by finally playing Pokemon Ultra Moon. But to make this playthrough extra special, I decided to use only the rarest of Pokemon. This is my journey playing Pokemon Ultra Moon for the first time using only shiny Pokemon. Oh, and I'd be doing it mostly blind. Plus I had some extra goals to make it even harder. Goal 1 was to catch at least 2 shiny Pokemon per main island, meaning we'd have at least 8 shinies by the end of the video. But they couldn't just be any shinies, as goal 2 is to use only Alolan Pokemon, as Gen 7 is the gen I'm least familiar with. And goal 3 was to get 1 shiny Ultra Beast. This is my adventure in Pokemon Ultra Moon using only shinies. It's a long one, but I hope you guys enjoy it nevertheless. Oh my god, that is one beautiful man. I find it so funny that they hit us with back-to-back sexy professors in Sycamore, and then in this region's hunk, Professor Kukui, who has a very odd quirk of talking in Pokemon puns. Funny and handsome, what can't he do? After the Dreamboat finishes introducing us to this region, we witness a mysterious girl being chased by mysterious people in a mysterious place as they mysteriously teleport away. It's a pretty sick opening cutscene, and I have so many questions. For now though, I must focus on starting my journey, and as soon as I leave the house, I get bedazzled by the night sky of Alola. What an incredible sight. Okay, let me get back on track. This is a shiny only challenge. I cannot be wasting any precious time. Let's go meet our potential first partners. In Ultra Moon, we can pick between Rowlet, Litten, or Poplio. And here is the best part. They aren't shiny locked, which means I can soft reset for a shiny starter. But the choice was hard. Rowlet is adorable. Poplio becomes a water fairy type, which just sounds broken, but Litten is a kitten that's lit. I can't ignore that. And so, my first playthrough of Ultra Moon will be with Litten by my side. I mean, not this Litten, it isn't shiny. I need to start soft resetting. And I did, but thousands and thousands of times. Nah, I'm just joking. I got incredibly lucky and got Litten in about 1,000 encounters. Oh! Oh my god, let's go, dude! Wow. That was way under odds. Let's freaking go. Oh, it looks so good in this game, man. Oh my god, we did it. We did it. And so easily. Oh my lord. Hell yeah. I name our partner in crime Wolvie, and he'll be our right-hand man in this adventure. And he'll look incredible doing it as well, because, I mean, Shiny Litten does just look incredible. What's that noise? Oh no, it's a Zombo, and it's still deeply insecure about its hairline, so it still wears a hat even in death. I thought it would have gotten over it by now. What are we gonna do? I know. We need a Goonbug. Goonbug, go! That's right, my handsome viewers, today's video is sponsored by Clash of Critters, a free-to-play tower defense game where you slay hordes of zombos with critters called Tatari. There are over 100 of these unique critters and evolution paths, which perfectly scratches that creature collecting itch. There is honestly nothing more exciting than being able to evolve a new Tatari. Now, I won't lie, out of these little guys, I have some favorite children. There's Stalkerix, a grass tank that does insane AoE damage. Sparkdo, a DPS that pierces through zombos and inflicts paralysis. But my all-time favorite has to be Flametail. It's just adorable, and it could be a stage full of like water zombos. I don't care. Flametail stays on the team. And its shiny form is insane. Yeah, this game has shinies, which you can get by feeding your Tatari specific fruits. Oh, and there is a friggin' pinball machine. Do I need to say more? Well, too bad, because I am. The game is also just ridiculously easy to pick up and play anytime, while also not sacrificing any strategic depth. For example, there was this one stage that I just kept losing and losing until I had a brain blast and put in my support Tripet, who with the right positioning gave all my carries an attack speed buff, which helped me win the stage. I do genuinely love this game to the point that I reached out to them for the sponsorship. So please, if this interests you at all, use my link below to download the game and use code HELLOTATARI, which gives you 100 pinballs, 4,000 candies, and 3 blue capsules. And code Goonbug, which gets you 1 Lunchbox, 4,000 candies, and the Tatari Goonbug himself, who despite his very silly name is actually pretty OP, being ranked S in a lot of online tier lists. Just make sure you grab them before September 21st though. Oh, and also add my user ID, it'll be on screen now. I need a team to help me with events. Anyway, thank you so much to Clash of Critters for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. With Wolvie by our side, our first day in Alola can officially begin. And after meeting and beating Hao, we run into Lily, the girl from the opening scene, and her poor Cosmog is being attacked by the Pokemon equivalent of flying pit bulls. And it's on a bridge. Any YouTuber's worst nightmare. Anyway, we almost freaking die trying to save the little guy, but in turn we are saved by the island guardian Tabu Koko, who seems like a pretty chill hang, I'm not gonna lie. We then meet the island captain Hala, who explains a bit about the island challenge, and we head back home, putting an end to our first day, and other than almost dying, it was a very chill time. But I was not ready for the hellscape that I was about to enter. That's right, this 26-year-old man is going back to school, and teacher Emily is about to teach me a hard lesson. I probably could have worded that better, but yeah, Emily here has a Poplio, which just kind of wrecks poor little Wolfie. And trust me, I tried beating her with just my aquagenic cat and willpower alone, but I just couldn't pull it off. And you might be asking, why don't I just go get another shiny? And well, besides the hours it would take to do that, as I mentioned in the intro, for this challenge, I wanted to get 2 shinies for each island. And for my second shiny, I really wanted a cutie fly, but I can't get a cutie fly until later in the game. So I was just trying really hard to clutch the win with just Wolfie. But after losing 7 times, I had to concede and admit that it just wasn't possible, and so I had to go on the hunt for another shiny, and my target was Pichu, as I actually really love Alolan Raichu and its shiny is pretty cool. However, the Pokegods had a different plan for me, and after just about 3,000-ish encounters and many hours under the night sky of Alola, I was able to find my next shiny. It just wasn't a Pichu. Oh, it's shiny? Oh my god. Man, that's not a Pichu though. I don't think I've ever used a piggyback before. I don't know whether to be happy or not. Okay, you know what? I am happy it's a shiny. That's lit. I just really wanted a Pichu. Okay. But no, that's also no, it is good. It's good. It's good. And yeah, I just really wanted a Pichu, but no, it's sick. It's sick. It's sick. I promise it's sick. At this point, I hadn't ever used the Picky Pack line, as this was before my bird shiny only run, and I didn't really know what to expect from Candy. All I knew was that her shiny was going to be amazing in the future, and for right now, that she'd be the key to passing teacher Emily's class and graduating from the trainer school. I do still start the 8th rematch with Wolfie, as he has a very good chance of paralyzing Poplio with a lick. This not only halves the sea lion's speed, it also has the chance to stop it from attacking at all, which happens 3 times in a row, allowing Wolfie to get Poplio extremely low. But in the end, he still needed the support from Candy to finish off the battle. And as revenge, Candy purposefully leaves it on red HP from a peck just to watch it be fully paralyzed, not able to defend itself as the dread sets in. Yes, you're going to die. Anyway, one more peck gets the KO, and we finally defeated Emily and have graduated from student to full-fledged trainer. And surely we'll never struggle again, right? Meet Trial Captain Alima. Ignore his friendly demeanor though, this guy is pure freaking evil. He starts with Yongoose, who Wolvie is able to take down, but not without having his defense lowered by Leers, which sets up for his Smeargle, who with a single tackle nukes our poor Litten. Sadly, Candy doesn't fare much better, as she too is just tackled into the ground. Okay, let's try this again. This time I start with Candy, who can handle Yongoose with rock smashes while taking 0 damage in return, but her defense was lowered, so when Smeargle enters the battle, I switch into Wolvie, hoping he'd take the attacks just a little bit better, but then it whips out friggin' water gun. I hate this man, and everything he stands for. Why? Thankfully, Candy is here to save us from taking another L, as her first rock smash gets a defense drop, which is actually enough for a second one to get the KO, beating Alima and earning us the right to take on his trial. Which, I won't lie, after being severely beaten over this early game, I'm pretty nervous. But isn't that what a journey is for? To overcome not only the challenges in front of you, but the ones inside yourself as well? And if I wanted to become a better trainer for my Pokemon and a better person for myself, then I'd have no choice but to take on this trial. Oh, and we also picked up the Brick Break TM, which just so happens to hit the Totem Raticate for 4 times super effective damage. So even with an unlucky flinch in the middle of the battle, we were able to beat the totem on our first attempt, which will not be the trend going forward, just to warn you all. Oh, and with the XP from the battle, Candy evolves into Trumbeak, a gorgeous shiny and a neat little power boost alongside us claiming the normal type Z Crystal. And after showing off Candy's new power against How, Wolfie also evolves into Torracat, one of the best second stage starters in terms of design, which only gets better with its shiny colors. Now, surely with these huge power boosts, the Island Kahuna Hala would be a piece of cake. But no, he was not. For this battle, I tried setting up a workup, but the Machop just smacks the crap out of Wolfie, and then Firefang only half shots, but it does get the burn, which is actually really bad. Because Machop has the Guts ability, so instead of nerfing its attack, the burn boosts it instead. So Revenge is able to finish off poor Wolfie, and like yeah, Candy is a flying type, but it's still a 1v3, and she doesn't even take resisted damage from fighting moves, thanks to her dual normal typing. I mean, Revenge almost one-shots her, and Peck is a 3-hit KO onto Machop, who is the only Pokemon we were able to beat as Makahita takes down Candy. There is a silver lining though, okay, I'm a positive guy, and that's the fact that Candy learnt the move Pluck, a much more powerful flying type move that might just be enough for us to win round 2. This time I lead with Candy, and she uses Work Up to boost her attack stat. This lets Pluck one-shot Machop and Makahita. Sadly, Crop Brawler is able to survive, but all it does in return is use Leer, so Candy is in the clear to fire off one last Pluck, beating the Grand Trial and earning us another Z Crystal. And we also get a sick new ride. With the Grand Trial completed, we can head over to the next island, and I think we can all agree that Pokemon cutscenes peaked here and never reached the same heights again. I mean, we just look so cool. After doing some sick flips on the Mantine Surf, we've made it to Akala Island. And of course, we have to instantly battle How, which is always nice because it's the only battle I'm not ever stressed about. And as always, it was an easy win. After beating How, we then run into a new character. It's the Goat Galadian, who is somehow the coolest and corniest character in all of Pokemon. And I honestly thought this battle would be pretty difficult, but it was super easy for my shinies to claim victory. The same could not be said for the second totem Pokemon, Araquanid. This thing would put Teacher Emily's lessons to shame. Attempt 1 looked pretty promising, with Candy getting pretty close to defeating the totem. Sadly though, she did eventually fall to the onslaught of rain boosted bubbles, and as I sent in Wolfie, the totem cooled down a mask of rain, which lowered Wolfie's attack with Intimidate, which leads to Firefang doing barely any damage at all. Even without the Intimidate though, it wasn't going to be putting a scratch on the totem, since this battle has Perma Rain, weakening fire type moves and boosting water type attacks, on top of the totem's ability Water Bubble, which again weakens fire type moves while boosting its own water type attacks. This combo is so evil, especially if you picked the fire type starter. I attempted this battle so many times, but no matter what I did, I just couldn't win. Like in attempt 2, I tried to use Z workup, but Candy just couldn't live long enough to land a second attack. Then in attempt 3, it calls in Masquerain first, intimidating Candy, and then it sets up a tailwind to ensure we're never faster, resulting in another quick L. And after the 5th loss, I knew I just couldn't do this with only Candy and Wolfie. Once again though, I had a next shiny in mind for this island, but I thought I couldn't get it until later in the game. But I did something kinda smart for once. I did some research, and I found out that we can actually find my next target right in front of the trial area, which means we're going on another shiny hunt. My target was Fomantis. Not the strongest Pokemon in the world, but one I've never used despite loving its design, and I thought now would be the perfect time to add it to the team. And I got super lucky finding our next team member in just under 2,000 encounters.
Oh, is that shiny? It is! Yes! Oh my god! Wait, that looks so good. Let's go. Oh my god. I've been so lucky in this run. Look at him. Oh, it's such a cute Pokemon. Alright. Oh, sick. Alright, cool.
Now the question is, can Aaron Cybertron Zhang help us beat the totem? And the answer? Not really, no. If anything, he kind of made the 6th attempt in particular even harder, as he gave it more healing than he did damage, which is a little depressing because even though he was way under odds, it still took hours to find this little guy, just for him to not really be much help at all. Attempt 7 though was the saddest by far. This time, I led with Wolfie in an attempt to scam out some paralysis luck, and the first lick does paralyze it, but Wolfie can't really do much more. Candy though can now come in and land 2 powerful plucks, leaving the totem with less than a quarter of HP. Aaron then brings it into the red, and on the following turn, he lands a Razor Leaf, which barely, and I mean barely, doesn't kill the totem, and it's left on like 3 HP before KOing him with a Leech Life. We were so close. Attempt 8 was then barely an attempt at all, and so I decided to level up the gang a bit before taking on attempt 9, and hopefully the level ups were all we needed. I once again start with Candy and use the workup for the boosted attack. The totem does land a bubble and then summons a dupe hider, but Pluck on the following turn hits like a truck, and it's even close to getting the one-hit KO. The totem and its ally then double up on Candy, but she lives with a 1 HP, and so one more Pluck defeats the totem, leaving the dupe hider all by itself, though it was able to take down Candy. But this is where Aaron gets to shine, as he now has the move Leaf Blade, which one-shots dupe hider with a critical hit, and after 9 attempts, we finally cleared the trial. But there were 2 more trials to complete before we could move on from this island. But before that, I wanted to get my second shiny of Akala Island. And after it just terrorized me over the last 3 hours or so, I thought it'd be cool to have a giant water spider of my own. And while the game has been kinda just putting me over the knee and beating me in terms of battles, the shiny hunting has been super smooth and chill. But I guess Araquanid just wasn't done terrorizing me, as I phased twice trying to find this shiny. And the first phase hurt the most, like by far.
Oh man, that's not a Alolan Pokemon. Oh, I mean, I should catch it, right? Like, even no point in not. It's so sad because I love Winkle so much.
Despite being one of my favorite Pokemon to use, and a shiny that I hold dear to my heart, we couldn't use Wingull as it's not an Alolan native, which is so sad. But the phases weren't done with us yet.
Again. Oh man. Oh man. I mean, it hasn't been that long since I got Wingull, so I guess in some ways I'm lucky. In other ways, what the flick, man? That's my dual biter. Oh. Cool shiny though, gotta say.
Psyduck is a really cool shiny, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. And I was just so sick of this spider like bullying me. I don't know how else to say it. First it pummels me and stuffs me in a locker 9 times, and then it ignores me. Like, give me a break, man. But of course, eventually we do find our target.
Oh, yes! Finally! Yes! Yes! We did it! Shiny Dewbiter! Yippee! Yippee, yippee, yippee! Sorry, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. It's been long. It's been a long time coming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all that. Alright, let's get a bit extra with it. But we did it! Oh my god.
I'd like you all to meet Ali the Dewpider. This shiny is so friggin' sick. The purple, it just kills. It's so good. Though I do have a question for all of you. What is your favorite Gen 7 Pokemon? I think mine just has to be Litten. I adore this little guy. And as a cat dad myself, I think they really nailed the design and the vibe of this little guy. But let me know yours in the comments below. Oh, and also there is a naming theme for this video. And if you guess it right in the comments, then I'll heart it guaranteed. Or if your Gen 7 fave is just hella based, I'll heart your comment as well. While you're down there, consider hitting the like and subscribe button as well, as it really helps out the channel. Alright, and if you want to be a part of the next big shiny only video, then follow my Twitch below, where I've been streaming my leaf green shiny only hunts. Okay, enough of that YouTuber talk though. With Ali finally joining the team, we can now continue on our island adventures. And this island was eventful, to say the least. First, we ran into these oddly dressed fellows who challenged us to a battle with a very interesting Pokemon, though it did kind of just die. We then chased away some Team Skull grunts, and then we participated in the Battle Royale. But how crit with Razor Leaf on Rockruff and ended the whole thing in one turn. So yeah, that wasn't that much fun, I'm not gonna lie. But now we are free to climb the Wave Volcano. Before I do that though, I was letting Ali Hydro Vortex the local population of fire Pokemon so she could level up and in turn evolve into the beast that is Araquanid. But would Ali be enough to beat the fire trial in one attempt? Well, let's find out, guys. Let's find out. I am happy to report that the actual trial puzzle only took me one attempt. So basically, I have a really high IQ. And the actual totem battle itself was almost as easy, with Hydro Vortex doing insane damage on turn 1, as Ali's water bubble defends her from Marowak's fire type attacks. It then summons a Salazzle, but Ali just one-shots it with a bubble beam, and then on turn 3, one more bubble beam gets the KO. And we've easily defeated the third totem with no issues. Surely a trend that will actually continue this time, right? Right? Wait, have I done this joke before? Yeah, Mallow's trial in her Totem Lurantis really put a dent in my recently found confidence. Attempt 1 was looking good, as it used Solar Blade without the sun, and so I thought I'd have a free turn. But no, these games are evil, and it has a Power Herb, which allows it to skip the charge up. And Solar Blade chops off half of Ali's HP as she lands a very soft infestation, which low-key was a big mistake, as 2 bug bites might have saved this attempt. But sadly, after a Dizzy Punch from the ally Kecleon, another Solar Blade KOs Ali. But the totem is looking really really low, so surely an Inferno Overdrive could finish it off. And yeah, it would've, but it uses Synthesis. This allows it to heal just out of range from dying, as Kecleon now sets up the sun. This does boost Wolfie's damage, but it also boosts the healing from Synthesis, so Lurantis is able to stall us out, which eventually ends up in us losing the battle. Attempt 2, however, went way worse. You see, this time it called Comfy as its ally, which meant it got even more healing. So with basically full HP, the totem once again wrecked me. This is getting a little bit embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. But I did realize the biggest problem from those last attempts was that it was outspeeding Wolfie, so it would just heal before we could do the damage needed for the KO. But I had a solution to this problem. So for attempt 3, I lead with Wolfie, and instead of ripping the Z move right off the bat, Wolfie uses Flame Charge to increase his speed while still doing some good damage. Sadly, it does summon a Comfy, which could really hurt my strat, as it gives the totem extra healing, which kind of undoes all the damage that we just did with Flame Charge. But on the third turn, after Wolfie lands a Flame Charge, the totem brings him into the red, and Comfy doesn't heal. Instead, it boosts the defense stat of Lurantis. But with his HP in the red, Wolfie's Blaze ability is now active, boosting the power of his Inferno Overdrive, which now is enough to KO the totem, and without its totem friend, Comfy is a sitting duck, and it even sets up the sun to speed up its demise. And so, we've completed Mallow's challenge, leaving us with the Grand Trial. I was already feeling pretty nervous about the upcoming Grand Trial. As you know, I've taken more L's than W's this run, so I really wasn't feeling high and mighty. And this battle against Plumeria did not help at all. I start with Ali, who obviously doesn't have a great matchup against Golbat, so I switch into Wolfie, but he takes a ridiculous amount of damage from Wing Attack, like a really stupid amount. And of course, it outspeeds and kills with a second Wing Attack, because I guess I just have the slowest, most frail Torracat of all time. From here, the battle was pretty cooked. Candy hit herself in confusion twice in a row and could only land one pluck before being taken down, and then the remaining members of our team are weak to flying. Ali could bring it into the red, but it just wasn't enough, and we lost to a single Golbat. This might be the most embarrassing moment of my career, and I will wear this shame for the rest of my life. Needless to say, in the rematch, I played with rage. Turn 1, we Inferno Overdrive off rip. We are not messing around, though it did way less damage than I thought, and Wolfie dies once again. But it was just enough for Candy to get the KO with 2 plucks, and then she's left with just a Salandit, which Ali can easily take care of. And I've gotten revenge for the most embarrassing moment of my life. Again though, that was meant to be a really easy battle, so I'm truly scared of our fight against Olivia. And even more so when she sends out an Anorith, because something tells me this means she's a rock type master. And 3 out of 4 of my Pokemon are weak to rock types. Needless to say, we got absolutely crushed in this first battle. But now that I know her team and what to expect, hopefully I can do a lot better on the rematch. And there was one big difference between this fight and the first, and that's the fact that Ali's Bubble Beam gets the speed drop on Anorith. This doesn't let her outspeed it, and she does still fall to a second smackdown, but the speed drop allows Wolfie to outspeed and land a Flame Charge for the kill. Sadly, against the Leap though, he's still pretty useless. I mean, missing a Fire Fang certainly doesn't help, but hey, got to land a small double kick before feigning at least. Go Wolfie, yeah! As Candy has always done, she's here to pick up the slack for Wolfie, and by using Roost to heal and get rid of her flying typing, she's able to stall out Laleep's Ancient Power PP before then taking it down with 2 Brick Breaks, which means we've gotten Olivia down to her final Pokemon, her Lycanroc. And in what feels like a very personal attack, it instantly hits Candy with a Continental Crush. And well, the name certainly fits, because Candy did indeed get crushed by a continent. So it's up to the Aaron Cybertron Zang to clean up the mess. and he fully delivers by landing a critical hit Bloom Doom, obliterating Lycanroc and winning us the grand trial. Holy goated performance from the team. After proving ourselves in the grand trial, this old man insists on taking us to visit the Aether Paradise. But before we go into that, I'd like to highlight this interaction with Hal. He says, "Can you believe a big hunk of iron like Aether Paradise can float in the sea? And it's all because of the Pokemon holding it up. Did you know that, BP?" And I respond with, "Really?" Expecting more details. But he just looks me dead in the eyes and he says, "I knew I could count on you to react." Huh? React? With a question? Brother, what Pokemon are holding up? Is it multiple species of Pokemon? Is it just one Pokemon? Help me out here. Okay, but we'll continue on though. That just like, I don't know why that made me so mad. I was like, more details, please. Once we do actually step foot in the Aether Paradise, it's clear that this was the place that Lily was running away from in the opening cutscene, so it makes me trust this place way less. But of course, that's only the info that we, the player, knows, not the characters, like not even our character would know. But it really puts their actual motives into question, especially when we meet the President Lusamine. Sure, her message of wanting to love all Pokemon like a mother is a bit extreme, but overall her words seem kind and selfless. But I can't help but to not take her words at face value. I think the biggest red flag is the line, "Trust me, children would all be much happier if they'd only listen to the adults around them." We don't really have too much time to dwell on this interaction though, as a wormhole opens up right next to us and a jellyfish looking creature crawls out of it, which we of course have to fight. And honestly, this battle was just weird. Arlie gets it low with a few bubble beams but is ultimately defeated, and so I send in Wolfie to hit it with an Inferno Overdrive, which it tanks like a beast, and then it just runs away. I don't know, the battle just ends and it disappears. Like, that works, I guess. Cool. The weirdly dressed people from before then explain that what we just fought was an Ultra Beast and hinted that more may appear. Nevertheless though, our time at the Aether Paradise comes to an end and Hao and I travel over to Ula Ula Island, though I dare say that our time at Aether is far from over. I'm man enough to admit that I've been struggling in this game so far, but the one trainer I've never had issues with beating was Hao. But that changed in this battle where his Raichu basically soloed my whole team. This is where I draw the line, okay? Losing to Hao? Seriously? I can't take it anymore. It's too humiliating. I think we got to evolve the squad. And so I started with Candy, who evolves into the gorgeous Toucanon. I don't really appreciate that angry look in her eyes, but I do love the colors of her beak, and I really love her new move, Big Blast. A flying move that can burn and has 100 base damage. Yeah, that's pretty huge. Next on the list to evolve was Aaron. He really hasn't seen much action as a little Fomantis, so hopefully now that he's evolved into a Lurantis, he'll be able to join us in more battles. Despite his battle power though, this shiny is just incredible. I've seen shiny Fomantis before, but this was my first time seeing shiny Lurantis. And honestly, it's a very pleasant surprise. The green and yellow blend so well together, and like, is it the most crazy shiny ever? No, not really, but it's pleasant to look at, and sometimes that's all a shiny needs to be. But a dazzling shiny is Wolvie's when he evolves into Incineroar. I know a lot of people actually hate this shiny, and I can see where they're coming from, but for me personally, it's just a slam dunk. The bright colors are so cool, and like this bright white feels like such a unique primary shiny color that I can't help but to adore it. It's an easy 9 out of 10 for me. With these new Evos, I was a lot more confident in taking on the Electric Trial. Side note though, this might be the best cutscene in all of Pokemon. Look at the Togedemaru just tank this. It is so friggin' cute. But of course, we have to fight the big Totem Togedemaru. Luckily for us, it's a Steel type. Unluckily, however, its Zingzaps away half of Wolf's HP, and Inferno Overdrive leaves it with green HP after it eats a held Citrus Berry. And then it calls in an allied Dedenne. Yeah, definitely not the best turn in the world, but don't worry, it gets way worse. As the Totem uses Spiky Shield and the Dedenne uses Charm, lowering Wolf's attack, and he attacks into the spikes, meaning he takes extra damage. I definitely need to switch Wolf out here, so I send in Aaron, but Dedenne Super Fang means he's put right down to half HP. The totem then bounces in the air because why wouldn't it have a flying type move, and the Dedenne lowers Aaron's attack stat with Charm, so Leaf Blade barely tickles. Aaron is a bit of a beast though, and he does survive the incoming bounce and Super Fang combo, but Leaf Blade still falls short of the KO onto Dedenne, and Iron Head is able to finish him off. It was a really good effort from him though. I decide to send in Candy next, which might seem crazy, but the Togedemaru seems to only have contact moves, so she can use Big Blast to burn it, which then halves its attack stat. She does die to do this, but at least now Wolf can survive a Zing Zap and take down Dedenne with a Flame Charge, just for the totem to then summon a Skarmory. The speed boost from last turn's Flame Charge does allow Wolf to outspeed everything on the field now, and he clutches up by KOing Skarmory before being taken down by the totem. And so it's a 1v1. But Ali's part water typing means she is weak to electric. Thankfully, the burn from Candy comes in like super clutch here, and Zing Zap now barely tickles, while an Infestation brings it low enough for a Bubble Beam to KO on the following turn. And while it wasn't easy, we were able to beat the trial in our first attempt. After our exciting victory, we head over to Melee Garden to meet up with the professor. But we're interrupted by the hated boss who beats you down and never lets up. Yeah, Big Bad Guzma is here, and he wants to fight. But this battle was pretty easy. Candy burns Gliscopod, Aaron triggers emergency exit, Wolf takes down Masquerain, and then Inferno overdrives the half HP bug for the easy W. Is that the record for the most boss battles I've beaten in a row? It very well could be. Well, it might be a bad idea to kill the momentum, but I was ready for my next shiny, and after that epic cutscene, I knew I had to have a Togedemaru of my own. The only problem was that it's a pretty rare spawn, and I really didn't want to phase again. Thankfully, there was a way to basically guarantee we get a shiny Togedemaru, and that's with the SOS method. The method is simple in nature, but kind of annoying in practice when you don't have the right Pokemon to set it up. Which I don't, so yeah, it's going to be annoying. The idea is to get a Togedemaru low, then use an item called the Adrenaline Orb, which increases the chances of it calling for help, and after 11 allies or so are called, the odds go from 1 in 4,000 to 1 out of 800. This isn't the max chain amount, it's just the highest I ever got, with the highest being after a chain of 31, which almost doubles the odds again, bringing it to a 1 out of 315 chance to find a shiny. I lost the first chain to the ally killing the main Togi with Discharge, as Aaron then kills the ally, which then just ended the battle there. I then lost another chain by trying to weaken a Togedemaru with Leaf Blade, but we crit, so it just died. But eventually, after like 30 chains of 11 to 20, it did finally appear. Oh! Yes! Okay! Oh my god. It's so cute! Oh, and my pain is finally over, dude. Oh my god. This was so much more annoying than I thought it would be. I completely forgot about like paralysis and all that stupid crap, man. Oh my god. Finally. I think this was like a chain of, I think like 12. I think we're still in the 1 in 800, dude. Oh, it's there, okay. Dude, so actually just so annoying, but so worth it. It's so cute. It's gonna kill the other. Oh no, lightning rod. Oh my god, I was so scared for a sec. I was like, wait, if it kills, I just completely was focused on the shiny. I forgot about the lightning rod. I was like, oh my god, wait, if it kills that one, and I flame charge, it's gonna die. But now we're chilling. We are chilling. Oh my god, he's so cute. So freaking cute. Let's Ultra Ball? Could Rotom boost as well. Nah, we'll just Ultra Ball. Get in there, bro. Get in there. 1, 2, 3. Yes! And so, Flygon HD, the Togedemaru, joins the team. And no, I did not name him Flygon because he's bald, as I got this Togedemaru way before Flygon went bald, okay? And as a fellow man who has no hair himself, I'd never make that connection on purpose, though it is a bit of a funny coincidence in hindsight. Now, in terms of shiny color, it's not that impressive, but he's just such a cutie that I really couldn't care what color he was. Plus, having a steel type on the team just can't hurt, can it? With our 5th member on the team, I head over to the Aether house with Hal, where I'm jumped by some preschoolers. And yes, I did beat them, okay? And if I didn't, trust me, you wouldn't be seeing this video. After my very cool and brave victory against literal children, Acerola shows up and basically says we should just stop wasting time and take on her trial, and I couldn't agree more, so I head straight over to the trial site. Her trial takes place in a haunted grocery store, and I think this was my favorite trial from the whole game, as you have to go around taking pictures of these, I guess, air quotes, supernatural occurrences, but in reality it's just some ghost type Pokemon being silly goofs. It's a cute little trial. Less cute is the Totem Mimikyu. I mean, its design is cute, but its damage output is insane, with it half-shotting Flygon with a Shadow Claw. But I knew its disguise ability would block any damage we dealt, so I used Nuzzle instead, which paralyzes the totem. What I didn't know was that it had a held Lumberry, so it's instantly cured, and then it just summons a Bayonet. Well, that kinda sucked. There is some good news here though, because if it isn't paralyzed, then it can be burnt. So I send in Candy, who can charge up a Beak Blast, and Mimikyu falls for the bait, hitting her with a Play Rough, which in turn burns the totem, halving its damage output. Which means we can just target its allies as Wolf kills Bayonet and Aaron kills Jellicent, before Wolf then deals the final blow to Mimikyu. And that's 3 in a row, baby! We've actually never been so back. I even dumpster Plumeria. Oh, how far we've come. Sadly though, we were too late to save these poor kids' Yungoos, and it's here where Hal has his first hint of character development, as he laments that battles you can't afford to lose just aren't any fun. We'll touch up more on Hal later, as for right now, we have to storm Po Town to get the kids their Yungoos back. Okay, actually let's put a pause on that. I'm sure the Yungoos is just fine, because we need to find our 6th shiny before we go to a scary place like Po Town. And I think you're going to be surprised when I reveal that my target was a Alolan Grimer. This shiny is one of my sleeper picks when it comes to great shinies. I just love the idea of normal Alolan Grimer being green like the OG shiny, but then shiny Alolan Grimer has the same colors as the original, but with like the unique markings of its form intact. I just think it's such a cool concept that I had to have one on my journey. Once again though, my luck in this run held up, and I saw a shiny in just about like 2,500 encounters if my math was right.
When writing this, I didn't realize that my mic was muted into reaction. I apologize. So yeah. This is to make the transition to the next part less awkward, but maybe I just made it more awkward. I don't know. I'm sorry it was muted. Always one in one of my videos. There's always one at least. My bad.
I evolved Tama straight away, and she looks pretty awesome. I think those extra colors and the way they're like moved throughout its body just makes Alolan Muck so much cooler than its Cantonian form. And with its dark typing, it should have an advantage in a dark place like Po Town. And honestly, I see why people complain about Sword and Shield being lazy, because this place is kind of exactly like Spike Myth. There's even someone with like insider knowledge who lets us into the town itself. I mean, in Sword and Shield it's Marnie, and in this game it's Nanu, who seems to think I'll be dying in this place, which is a little funny to think about when my first battle is against a Team Skull Grunt that has a single Spinarak. Needless to say, it was fairly easy to make it to Guzma. This battle was pretty easy as well. Flygon is able to trigger emergency exit, which brings in Pinsir, who gets drilled by Candy. Wolf then flame charges Masquerain and then uses that speed to outpace Golisopod and hit it with an Inferno Overdrive, but it lives with 1 HP and KOs Wolf. Despite that being super embarrassing, it doesn't end up mattering, as Candy can just finish it off with a Beak Blast, winning yet another battle without whiting out. I'm starting to feel actually so much more confident in not only my Pokemon, but myself as well. With Po Town cleared out, I head back to the Ava house to return Yungoos, and from here, I thought the adventure would just go back to being pretty chill. But turns out, Plumeria has just taken Lily, and as Hao is trying to tell us what happened, Gladion appears and is so angered by the news that he just roid rages on us and forces us into a battle. It feels crazy to say this, but once again it was really another easy battle, and after the fact he apologizes, admitting it was wrong of him to basically attack us, which I do appreciate, to be fair. I can tell though this rage comes from a place of caring for Cosmog and mainly Lily, so when he tells us to come with him to get them back, I can't find it in my heart to refuse him. Plus the game also wouldn't have let me anyway, but you know, just speaking purely from me, I guess. Obviously we are going into a dangerous place, so Nanu intercepts us and tests our strength and determination in a good old Pokemon battle. Nanu leads this battle with Sableye, and I lead with Flygon, who can't win the 1v1, so he pivots out with a Volt Switch, bringing in Tama. And this caused Nanu to switch out his Sableye as he sends in Krokorok. A pretty good switch because it eats Tama's Crunch. It always does shock me when the AI switches in a Pokemon because I never know what triggers it. In this case though, I had a pretty easy answer with Mr. Cybertron and his powerful Leaf Blade, which also ends up finishing off Sableye. Nanu is now down to his Persian, so I switch into Ali, but I switched her into a Black Hole Eclipse, and honestly, watching her get sucked up into it was pretty funny. The damage it did, not so much, but the animation is just pretty goofy. Thankfully, that damage doesn't stick thanks to Leech Life healing, which is enough for Ali to outlive the Persian, winning the battle. Oh, and I guess that was a grand trial. It's just too easy now, guys. It's just too easy. After our battle with Nanu, Gladion reveals that Lily was taken to the Aether Paradise. Oh yeah, I knew we'd be back. We battle our way through weak and boring Aether Scientists, and then we destroy a bunch of weak and boring Team Skull grunts. For a while now, we've been winning every battle in a single attempt, a far cry from our days in the first 2 islands. But I think we all knew this hot streak was going to end eventually. I just didn't think it would end to Guzma. The biggest problem isn't even his Golisopod, as it's nerfed straight away by Candy's Beak Blast, which also triggers Emergency Exit and brings in the real monster of this fight, his Pinsir. Last time we could abuse Beak Blast and profit, but this old dog has new tricks, like the move Stone Edge, which is a physical move, but it doesn't make contact, so Pinsir doesn't get burnt. I then assume Wolf could outspeed and bait it into using Stone Edge again, but no, it outspeeds Wolf. Thankfully, it does end up missing the Stone Edge and we can still land a U-turn for a little chip. And originally I was going to send in Flygon to eat the Stone Edge, but instead I need to switch into Ali. This is to rebait it into using Stone Edge, which Flygon can now tank with ease. But then I mess up again by assuming Flygon would outspeed and land a Volt Switch for more chip. But I was dead wrong and a Storm Throw kills Flygon. And now I'm in a lot of trouble because Pinsir still has 2 Stone Edges to hit majority of the team for super effective damage. The only one who has a chance here is Tama, and she is able to 1v1 Pinsir, but she's left far too low to be any more useful, so I let Masquerain take her down. I then switch into Wolf for free, who gets smacked by a Bug Buzz, lowering his special defense, and Flamethrower isn't even close to the one-hit KO. Cybertron is kind of dead weight this fight, so I send him into Feint to reset the defense drop on Wolf, which means he survives a second Bug Buzz while also being put into Blaze range. I'll save that for later though, as Golisopod could be a bit of a problem for him, but Ali on the other hand wools the Overside Isopod, so it's an easy KO. Guzma is now left with his Vigavolt, which outspeeds Arlie. I was very surprised by this, so I did look up the speed stats, and I'm not even joking, Vigavolt is 1 point faster than Araquanid. So yeah, my bad there, I get that was a knowledge check I suppose. Wolvie is our only hope now, but I messed up once again and didn't give him the Fire Z crystal. He's holding the Incineroar Z, which means we can only land a Fire Fang, and it's just barely not enough to get the one shot, and so my win streak ends. They say that you learn more from your defeats than your victories, and they're right, because I learned a lot from that fight. So in attempt 2, I successfully stall Stone Edge on Pinsir, and so Arlie and Tama can take it down, which means Candy is alive to deal with Masquerain, and even lands a bit of chip onto Vigavolt, which then allows Wolf to Inferno Overdrive for the kill. Guzma is left with his heavily weakened Golisopod, which is cleaned up by a Flamethrower. See, it was a pretty simple fight. I just made a lot of mistakes last time, okay? It's not my team's fault, it was my fault. We're still good. We're still good, guys, okay? We can still be confident. With Guzma defeated, there was no one in the way of us making it to Lily. Well, anyone of note anyway. And so we walk in on Lily and Lusamine, who is so hurt by Lily and Gladion leaving her that she just declares straight up that she has no children. She then mocks Lily for our weakness, and I find this line interesting in particular. Lusamine says, "Just know that my fathomless love will save even someone like you." Which I interpret as a hurt mother lashing out and basically saying that she doesn't love Lily and that if she is saved by her actions, then it's really just a coincidence. Though I don't think she really means these words, and she could be saying them in a way to discourage Lily from stopping her from doing what Lusamine thinks she needs to do to save Alola and those Pokemon that she quote-unquote loves, while also being able to get some jabs in as she is clearly still very hurt. Okay, or maybe she's just freaking crazy, man. I'm not the biggest Pikachu fan, but even I am horrified at seeing it being frozen in a secret room. We then find out that Lusamine wants to use Cosmog's power to open up a wormhole so she can then defeat Necrozma, and she'll do it even if it means the death of Nebby. In many ways though, Lily and Gladion aren't only worried about Cosmog, they're also worried about their mother, who very well could never make it back to Alola and would disappear just like their dad did. To reassure them that she is strong enough to challenge Necrozma, she forces us to battle her. I do feel a bit bad in saying this, but our team is kind of buns, as I didn't struggle at all. Tama one-shots Clefable, Cybertron takes care of my Lotic and Lopunny. She then sends in her Beware, which, side note, could be a representation of her overbearing love that she has for her work and for quote-unquote everything, as Beware tends to hug things to death. Not a lot of time to dwell on that though, as Candy just obliterates it. And then an Inferno Overdrive from Wolf onto her Lilligant proves that she really isn't that strong, but she forces the portal open anyway, and with Guzma she jumps in, which instantly closes up behind them, with us unable to follow her. Worst of all, Nebby has changed forms but isn't moving, so all we can do really is leave. The funny dressed future looking people do tell us that there is one way to travel between these wormholes, and that's by summoning the legendary Pokemon Lunala at the altar of the moon, located on Pony Island. Before we head off though, we have a long rest, as it was a very eventful 24 hours. When we wake, we see that Lily has changed out of the clothes picked for her by her mother, and this new outfit represents her independence and newfound determination to save the ones that she loves. It's a very endearing scene, and it also makes me really like this character even more than I did before. After everything that occurred here, we have our goal, and to achieve that, we must head to the final island of the game, Pony Island. Ah, Pony Island. I wonder what new and exciting things I'll experience here. Well, this certainly wasn't on my bingo card, but hey, I'm not complaining. We use our new, friend to make our way to the Taboo Fini ruins in an attempt to see if we can heal Nebby. And though that does fail, Hapu is given the blessing of the Guardian and she becomes Pony Island's Kakuna, which is a pretty cool scene, and it's interesting to see how the kahunas are picked. Her first job as the new kahuna is to tell us where the moon flute is, which we'll need to summon the legendary Pokemon, and it's on Executor Island. And no, I don't need to get 2 shinies from here, it doesn't count, okay? Anyway, this place is cool and all, but it's pretty easy to make our way to the flute, and our time here is quickly over. Despite the potentially world-ending stakes at play here, we are still forced to take on the island trial, and honestly, it was actually kind of nice to take on something as low stakes as a totem Pokemon, especially when it was such an easy battle, as Kamaro is a bit of a Big Blast victim getting 2-shot by Candy, and as for its ally Scizor, it's a bit of a wolf victim being 4 times weak to his Infernal Overdrive, which I do think was a bit overkill, but hey, it secured the win and the Dragon Z move. With Kamaro out of the way, Lily and I play our flutes at the Moon Altar, and to no one's surprise, this causes Nebby to evolve into the legendary Pokemon Lunala. This is one of my favorite legendary designs by far, it's just so slick and cool. And it was also one of my favorite restricteds to use during my Sword and Shield VGC era, so it's really cool to see it in its original game. We get ready to find Lusamine and Guzma, but then they suddenly fall out of the sky, with Lusamine telling us to run, and Necrozma quickly follows them. I go to fight it, but its attention is on Lunala, and this little fight scene is so dope that I'll just let it play out. With Necrozma taking the power of Lunala, it's able to open wormholes all over Alola. And this moment where Hao steps in front of Hala to take on the Ultra Beast was so sick. And I don't know, I might have just been feeling like really emotional that day or something, but I remember tearing up at all the Guardians springing into action to help against the threat. Don't ask me why, I really don't know, I just think it was like so cool that I don't know, got overwhelmed. Which is embarrassing to admit, but it happens to me sometimes, okay. Alright, let's go back to it though. All I know is that Nebby needs our help, and to do that, we'll have to defeat Necrozma in battle, which Tama does in 2 attacks, so good job Tama. The coward then runs away and takes Alola's light with it, and honestly, they did such a good job at this, as Alola is by far the brightest region, and I think that brightness is a big part of what makes it feel so special. So taking that away is like a really big deal. It's clear that we need to get that light back, so by using Solgaleo, we are able to travel to Ultra Megaopolis, home to the weirdly dressed gang, and home to Necrozma. It's up to us now to not only save Alola and this world, but Necrozma itself. And so I climb up the tower just in time to see it change forms, this time becoming Ultra Necrozma. And I had heard that this battle was one of the hardest in any mainline Pokemon game, but we had been doing pretty well lately, so I was fairly confident, and this confidence led to me losing over 3 times. But on the 4th attempt, I decided to do the exact same plan just one more time, and that plan was to crit with Tama's Black Hole Eclipse, or die. That was the plan. And we got super lucky on attempt 4. Black Hole Eclipse crits, one-shotting Necrozma, saving the light of Alola, and more importantly, saving Nebby. And with that, the main story threads are concluded, and we can go back to what's important, and that's getting shiny Pokemon. I think it's about time that I completed my tertiary goal of finding a shiny Ultra Beast. And these guys in Ultra Megaopolis just so happen to offer us a Pipole, an Ultra Beast that isn't shiny locked, and we can hunt for it by soft resetting. And this was the craziest hunt by far, and maybe ever on this channel, as we got our shiny in just 150 resets.
Dude. Oh my god. No way. Dude. What? What? I swear to god I haven't been here that long. I wouldn't even... Maybe 100? Bro. It's so beautiful. Oh my god.
How awesome is this shiny, and how many of you even knew it was this good, or that you could even get it shiny? This is my first playthrough of the Ultra games, but I've always been aware of this hunt, and for years I've wanted to hunt it. So to get it in such a little resets is so amazing. And it's moments like these that make me truly grateful that I'm able to do amazing adventures like these and share them with so many people. So even though this isn't the end of the video, I just wanted to say thank you for watching this far into it. I really do appreciate it. Okay, enough of that sappy crap, we still need to complete the Pony Island trials. Mina's trial was somewhat nostalgic because after we crush her in battle, we are sent to fetch petals off of all the previous trial captains, traveling back through this beautiful region. And once we've collected them all, we can fight the final totem of the run, and it's a Rabombi, and it was the easiest totem by far, with Tama just straight one-shotting it with Acid Downpour. In one way that was very anticlimactic, but in another it really shows how far we've grown over the course of this playthrough. From taking 9 attempts to beat a totem to just one move, and in many ways that's what a journey is all about. With the final totem defeated, we can now take on the final grand trial. And to pass it, we have to beat the newly appointed Kahuna Hapu. She uses ground types, which is kind of scary for our team. The only one that isn't that scared of her ground types is Cybertron, who is just shy of one-shotting Golurk, which does make him tank an extra hammer arm of damage, though he can finish it off next turn. Flygon is next, and it actually isn't weak to grass type moves, so I decide to send in Candy. And Flygon just seems to be spamming Dragon Breath, which really isn't doing that much damage, so Candy can stay out of KO range with Roost while firing a few Drill Pecks, eventually KOing Flygon. I then let Candy feint to Gastrodon to give Cybertron the free switch, and Gastrodon doesn't have any coverage to hit us with, so Cybertron heals a little with Synthesis before taking the kill with a 4x super effective Leaf Blade. Hapu's final Pokemon is her Mudsdale. It somehow outspeeds, but its Heavy Slam isn't enough to KO, so we retaliate with a Bloom Doom, getting the clean one-hit KO, and completing the final grand trial. I have no idea what the timestamp will be for this point of the video, but I imagine it's at least at the 40-minute mark, so it's taken us a while to beat what's essentially this game's gym leaders. Despite all this time it's taken, I did still need one last shiny from Pony Island. Picking this shiny though ended up being extremely difficult. At first I really wanted a Beware. It's one of the first shinies I ever hunted back in the original Sun, but you can't find it on this island until after you've beaten the Elite Four. Okay, maybe Mudsdale then. A ground type sounds like it could really shore up some of our bad matchups. Nope, it's post-game only as well. Look, I know both of these encounters are ones that you can get before this part of the game, so this is a specifically annoying problem for me alone, but it was still very annoying. In the end, I was able to make a choice, and my target, again, may seem a little weird. My target is a Alolan Dugtrio. I could say I picked this Pokemon because of its ground typing or because it has a speed stat over 60, but in reality, it was those luscious locks that drew me in. Oh, to have hair so thick and lush. Or hair at all. I'm extremely jealous. Anyway, our previous hunt was extremely lucky, but this hunt was pure hell. In over 6,000 encounters, we found our first over odd shiny of the run, but it wasn't our target.
Dude. No way, man. Oh, okay. Far out. This is the first hunt to, like, really, I feel like, take forever. It's a freaking Carbink, man. I mean, it's a cool shiny, don't get me wrong, okay? It's a cool shiny. But it's a Carbink. You know what I mean? You do not get it this quick ball, I swear to God. I hate you. Dead. Oh, man. Oh, well, it was bound to happen, right? It was bound to happen.
Well, that sucked, but the next shiny only took 3,000 encounters. Barely below odds, but below nevertheless. Just again, wrong shiny.
Okay. I just need one more. I just need one more. And I can start working on the video, please. I just need one more. Also, this guy shows up in, like, I swear to God, every game except for the one I want him in. Get the freaking quick ball. Come on, bro. At least catch with the first ball. Don't be like Carbink. Good lad. Far out, man.
Okay, I'm sick of this. I need to find a way to increase the chances of the next shiny being Doug Trio. So I went back to Blush Mountain to catch an Alolan Graveler with the ability Magnet Pull. This has the neat little effect of making it a 50% chance to encounter Steel types. And with this trick, we are able to finally find our target.
Oh wait, is that shiny? Yes! Yes! Oh my God, dude. Finally. Oh my God. I don't know how to explain how annoying it is when it's like the final shiny is the one that's taking the longest. Because sometimes when I get to the end of these, I'm bustling to try and get, like, the video done and stuff, so I was just like, bro, why are you teasing me, man? Oh, you know what, actually, it's the final shiny of the run, right? I would have nothing else to use my Master Ball on. I caught Necrozma without it. I'm gonna Master Ball it. Yeah, that's just guaranteed catch. You know, no more mucking around. We've wasted enough time on this guy. Let's Master Ball the shiny Doug Trio. Yes! How many of you thought going into this video, you're like, yeah, BP's gonna use a Alolan Doug Trio in this? Be honest, okay? If any of you thought it, I don't know, I'll buy you a Bugatti or something. I don't know, man. I can't afford one, but you know what I'm saying.
For the most part, I have been playing this game completely blind, but I thought I should at least check out what types the Elite Four uses. And two types that looked like they'd give me a lot of trouble were Rock and Steel. Both types that Zwigo should just wreck. You know, just in case you guys needed more justification on why I picked Alolan Doug Trio, because I do still feel like it's a weird pick. Before we can take on the Elite Four though, we have to climb through this game's equivalent of the Victory Road. But Gladion is here to stop our ascent, and his team is super cool, as he starts with a Crobat, which can't really touch Flygon, so it is a quick first KO. Next was Lucario, so I switched into Ali, who is losing to Quick Attack spam, but she gets it into the red, and predicting another Quick Attack, I switch back to Flygon, and his Iron Barb's ability is able to clean up the KO. He then sends out his Savali early, Well, actually, it's his Zoroark disguised as Zavali. I knew that either way Flygon could live an attack, so he stays in, barely survives the night days, and then paralyzes Zoroark, breaking its illusion and cutting its speed in half. Cybertron then joins the battle, and on the switch, Zoroark gets fully paralyzed, which is good because despite the speed nerf, it's still faster than Cybertron, so it rips out a black hole eclipse that we barely survive. Thankfully, Leaf Blade is a one-hit KO even without the crit. His actual Savali comes out last, and while it's a super cool Pokemon, it's just no match for Tama, as she one-shots it with an acid downpour. That battle was super easy, but I do just have to say that I love that Gladian's team is made up of friendship evolutions, as I feel like that a big part of his arc was learning that things are easier when you get help from the people around you. And what would you call those people in your life that help you during difficult times? That's right, friends. Now I do want to add that this is just my surface level interpretation of this character from a children's game, but like, he didn't have a Savali when he was focused on becoming strong all by himself, so I think I'm kind of cooking here. The other interesting sight in the Victory Road was this crater, as inside was Necrozma. Obviously, it's landed here after separating from Nebby, and it looks like it's in bad shape, and I think a Poke Center is just what it needs right now. So even though this is one of the few shiny locked Pokemon in this game, I decided to catch it anyway so it could finally live in peace. Overall, that was all that was worth mentioning in the Victory Road, and now that we've made it to the peak, we can finally use the move relearner to teach Keegan the move Dragon Pulse. And after leveling him up while knowing Dragon Pulse, Piepole is able to evolve, and this shiny is so insane. I actually thought it shared the same shiny colors as Piepole, but this looks way cooler. It really brings its wasp-like design together with it having the color of a yellow jacket. It's so sick. 10 months of shiny hunting. 10 months on this journey. And oh, how we've grown throughout that time. From us struggling to beat a single Poplio, to us one-shotting the strongest legendary of any mainline Pokemon game. But this is our journey's final step. The newly created Alolan Elite Four. Do my shinies and I have what it takes to become Alola's first champion? Well, let's find out. We can pick the order in which we challenge the members of the Elite Four, so I decided to start with Kahili, and she leads with a Braviary. Something tells me this Elite Four is going to be crazy strong. I lead with Flygon, who can chip the big bird with Spiky Shield, blocking the incoming Crush Claw. And since it was using Crush Claw, I thought Flygon could just wall this thing. But no, it still hits pretty hard despite the resistance, but not as hard as Zing Zap, which gets close to the KO. She then heals up all the damage with Full Restore, so we are right back to square one. Though this time I use Nuzzle, as I'm scared she'll have a second Full Restore, but Nuzzle won't bring Braviary low enough, and it means Flygon outspeeds and finishes it off with a Zing Zap. And thanks to leftovers, Flygon still has green HP. Hawlucha though probably doesn't care about how much HP we have, as any fighting move would just blow Flygon up. So it's time to bring in Keegan for his first battle, and he not only outspeeds, but also one-shots Hawlucha, and his Beast Boost ability gives him +1 special attack. Mandibuzz is Kahili's third Pokemon, and it's actually able to tank a +1 Dragon Pulse pretty well. But all it can do is confuse Keegan, and he's a beast, so he doesn't hit himself, and a second Dragon Pulse gets the KO. Keegan is still confused when Toucannon enters the field, but I really don't want to give up on these special attack boosts. So he stays in and he hits himself, and then Toucannon rams through him with a supersonic Sky Strike. So, yeah, Keegan's dead. Well, we all know the classic saying, bite Toucannon with Toucannon. So I send in Candy. The opposing Toucannon is faster and lowers Candy's defense, and then she misses her Rock Blast. Oh, Candy, why? Thankfully, it just tries to abuse Beak Blast, so we attack first, and with Skill Link, Rock Blast hits 5 times, and Candy proves that she's the better bird. Kahili is down to our last Pokemon, but once again, Rock beats Bird, so we've won our first battle against a member of the Elite Four. Acerola was the second member I decided to challenge, and she uses Ghost types. So we all know that Tama is going to go crazy here. And she's off to a super strong start as she one-shots Bayonet with Crunch. Polar Sand is next and might be a bit tricky for Tama to handle, so I switch to Candy, who is immune to both Ghost and Ground. So all it can do is spam Mega Drain and Iron Defense as Big Blast eventually takes it down, though it was a very long and hard fought battle thanks to all of those defense boosts. With Candy being so low, I thought it was best to just let Acerola's Frostlass take her down. This gives me a free switch into Zwigo, who gets outsped and hit with a Raw Blizzard, which he survives, but it gets the freeze. And so his first showing ends up being pretty tragic, with an Ice Shard KOing him on the following turn. Thankfully, Wolf comes in and one-shots Frostlass with a Darkest Lariat. Acerola then sends in Delmise, and I'm sick of versing this thing in the TCG, so I happily let Wolf take it to the ring, where he shows off his Malicious Moonslaught, which has such a funny animation, and of course, it obliterates Delmise. Driftblim is last, but Flygon is able to zap it out of the sky, winning the battle. And you know what? Tama didn't go that crazy, but it was a nice team effort in the end. Okay, this is where I get a little bit nervous as we now have to face off against Olivia, who uses Rock types, a type that hits most of my shinies for super effective damage. This fight is half the reason I spent so much time hunting for Zwigo, so he better perform, at least better than he did last fight. I of course lead with Zwigo while Olivia leads with Armaldo, and Ironhead doesn't get the one-hit KO, and it retaliates with a critical hit Exizor, leaving Zwigo with 18 HP. I'm starting to think Dugtrio might be a little buns, chat. It might be buns. Olivia uses a full restore, but Ironhead brings it right back down to the same HP, and a second attack was able to get the KO. Probopass is second, and look, I was just kind of ready to let Zwigo die here, alright? He's been fumbling, so he just fires off a 4-time super effective Earthquake, proc Sturdy, and Probopass kills Zwigo. The poor fella, he's just not been having a lot of luck here. With 1 HP though, I thought, why not send in Keegan to get a free Beast Boost with Dragon Pulse, which he then uses to 2-shot Gigalith. Lycanroc was Olivia's next Pokemon, and I don't know why I didn't just stay in with Keegan to abuse the +2 special attack, but I sent in Flygon instead. It's a pretty long back and forth actually between the two, but in the end, Flygon gets the KO with his Iron Barbed, and Olivia is down to her final Pokemon, Cradilly. To make things harder for Cradilly, I just get Flygon to nuzzle it for the paralysis, and thanks to Zingzap also having a chance to flinch, Flygon is able to bring the Cradilly super low, with it either flinching or getting fully paralyzed like 4 times. I know Flygon can't finish it off though, so he Volt Switches out to Tama, who can end the battle with a Gunk Shot, and that ended up being way easier than I predicted. But what about the final Elite Four member, Molayne? He was another one that I was pretty scared of, but surely, Zwigo finally proves that he was worth the Master Ball and the time I put into hunting him. Sadly, Klefki kinda bypasses the speed tiers with his ability Prankster, giving it priority on Reflect, halving the damage of our physical moves, which is super annoying. Despite the damage nerf though, Zwigo can still get the 2-shot, which is really nice. Molayne isn't messing around though, as he sends in Metagross, a absolutely terrifying Pokemon. I sacrifice Flygon, switching him into a Hammer Arm, which just crushes our poor boy, but I don't think he would have been very useful in this battle. I did this to give myself a free switch into Candy. She can charge up her Beak Blast as Metagross makes contact with Meteor Mash, causing it to get burnt, making it way less threatening. With it burnt, Molayne just switches it out for Magnezone, but this just lets Candy hit it with a Brick Break, not only doing decent damage, but also breaking the Reflect. Sadly, a second Brick Break isn't able to get the KO, and Thunderbolt obviously takes down Candy. But she's done more than enough here, as I send Zwigo back in. Molayne does use a Full Restore and then switches Magnezone out for his own Dugtrio, but it just gets smacked by an Earthquake and instantly dies. Metagross is next, but with the chip from Candy, Zwigo is able to get yet another KO. And then Zwigo even one-shots Bishop, and of course Magnezone can't touch us. So Zwigo gets all 5 KOs in the fight against the final Elite Four member, paving the way for us to become the Alolan champion. At first, it looked like the champion seat was ours to claim, with no one to challenge us, but of course, it wouldn't be that easy, as Hao has also bested the Elite Four, and we'd have to battle him for the title of Alola's first champion. And last time we battled, he humiliated me, so I'm more than ready for revenge. It won't be easy though, as Hao has also grown throughout his journey, and has learnt that taking battles seriously actually makes them more fun and satisfying. So I imagine he'll be trying hard to take the title. I lead the final fight with our first shiny of the run, Wolf, and he's facing down Raichu, the terrorist who basically soloed our team last time. Raichu has not gotten any less scary as it uses Focus Blast turn 1, and I honestly thought Wolf was dead here, but he hangs on and Darkest Lariat in response gets the one-hit KO. Wolf has already done enough this fight, so I let Vaporeon Hydro Pump him so I can get a clean switch into Flygon. Even with Vaporeon spamming Baby Doll Eyes to lower Flygon's attack, he is still able to get the knockout with just 2 Zing Zaps, and Hao is quickly sending in his third Pokemon, Tauros. Tauros has a surprisingly big move pool, so Flygon uses Spiky Shield to scout out what attack it wants to go for, and of course it's using Earthquake. This makes the next move easy as I can send in Candy, who is immune to the ground attack. Tauros pivots to using Double Edge, but of course that's a contact move, so it gets burnt from Beak Blast. But the actual damage from Beak Blast puts it into full restore range. So even though we can do some more damage with another Beak Blast, it is no longer burnt. I know it's going to use Double Edge again, so I do switch into Flygon, who can trigger Iron Barbs for a bit of chip. I then let Tauros KO Flygon, which gets me a free switch into Zwigo, who can finish the ball off with a priority Sucker Punch. Hao then sends in his Crab, so I have to get Zwigo straight out of there as I send in Keegan. But sadly, he just doesn't have enough oomph, and Air Slash isn't able to one-shot, as he's then Ice Hammered right back into his Beast Ball. Once again though, the Crab is nice and low for Zwigo to come finish off. Hao is absolutely panicking now as he sends in his Decidueye. I do feel bad about this, but Tama just kind of hard walls it with him resisting both Ghost and Grass moves, and Crunch gets an easy one-hit KO. Hao is now left with his final Pokemon, Noivern, and Tama does survive a Dragon Pulse, but Gunk Shot barely can't one-shot, so she ends up falling. But it's just right back into Zwigo, and with a Sucker Punch, we've not only become the first Alolan champions, we've done it using only shiny Pokemon. Wow, what a great game. I won't lie, I used to trash talk the Ultra games for ages without having ever played them. I think at the time I was just a bit tired of Pokemon. I was in my final years of high school, I was addicted to League of Legends, and I think I put me not liking Pokemon at the time on the shoulders of these games, when in reality it was all on me and just where I was in life at the time, because honestly I loved this playthrough. The region is beautiful, all the characters are amazing, I didn't dislike a single one of them, not even the villains, Guzma and Lusamine. In fact, they might be one of my favorite villains in the series. Again, these are my first playthrough thoughts, and typically I do enjoy almost every Pokemon game on a first playthrough. The only one I haven't's like BDSP, but you know, so it'll be like, okay, I gotta play these a bit more, see how they hold up. For example, like the cutscenes, I can imagine on repeat playthroughs could be very annoying. It kind of killed the momentum in this run sometimes as well. I think like me taking breaks from doing the story might have helped a bit there, because like I kind of killed the momentum doing shiny hunting. So it'll be interesting to see what they feel like when you're just going straight through. And hey, maybe for my second run I'll do a Nuzlocke, which will be interesting considering how much this game kind of beat me down. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to give like a more off the rip, like small review of these games. I think they're an easy 8 out of 10. I'm reluctant to give them a 9 because I want to replay them. But I'd say 8 is definite, and then after some replays I could see it going up to 9. But yeah, I just wanted to give my final thoughts on these games since this was the first time I played them. I didn't want to go too deep into it, obviously, because you know the video's got to end at some point. So I just want to say huge thanks to the members of the channel. You guys are incredible. Really helps me do what I do. If you have any spare cash, consider becoming a member yourself. If not, then obviously subscribing and liking the channel is more than enough to support it. And if you want to catch some shiny hunts live, then check out the Twitch. And on screen now are some videos of mine I think you'll enjoy. As always though, just stay safe guys, okay? It's scary out there these days, and please be kind, because we need more of that out there as well. So have a good one guys. See you in the next one, hopefully. Tell me what you think of this rambling outro. But yeah, see you guys. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.